Hi everybody, Carol here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm making card number 8 of 10 Cards 1 Kit from the Simon Says Stamp July Kit. So I'm going to be using the Be Yourself stamp set in the kit and the Honeycomb and right there and the bee, one of the bees in the kit, stamping with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I'll start with the honeycomb, and I'm going to put it at the top of the card. This is a landscape style, but I'm not going to use the honeycomb as a honeycomb, and you will see that in a minute. I'm going to think outside the box. So I'm stamping that off, and in the kit there were 3 different honeycomb sizes, and there was one that was really little here. And I'm stamping it one direction, then turning it upside down and stamping it another direction to give it a different look. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment on it that says, "You're the bee's knees," and stamping it down at the bottom. I will also stamp it off on some other pieces, another piece of cardstock in case I need that. Now I'm going to do the cute little bee that has glasses and turn him into a professor. So I love this little bee, and I've been wanting to use him. So I'm using my Zig Millennium pens, and here's what I'm going to do. I was looking at the hexagons one day, and I thought, what does it remind me of? Is it a math formula or what? And then I thought, oh, it's DNA. So I had to look up on the internet what DNA really looked like. I don't know much about it. But so I saw this formula or this structure, and it has all these letters, O's, N's, H's, combinations of NH and I think HN. And so this is not by any means the real deal. I am just taking off on what I saw, so don't expect this to be serious. But some of the N's and some of the O's, and even some lines off with a P in the center and then some O's going off from the P. Some lines that were drawn to other structures outside of the main cluster, and it just goes on. And so maybe some of you know what that means, and I appreciate that you do know that. And so I did do a little bit of reading there, and it's very interesting. But I need to go back to the very beginning to have a base for understanding this. But anyway, so I'm using that piece of cardstock to keep me from dragging ink all across the page. And I'm speeding this up terribly so it won't be so boring to watch. I use the side of the cardstock to draw a pointer coming out of his hand as if he is teaching this and has this up on a board or a chalkboard of some kind. So now I'm going to color him in with just 3 colors, yellow, a hint of orange around the edges to give a little shading, and around the edges of the stripe, the little yellow stripes on his body. I'm using the Millennium pen to fill in, go back and color his eyes a little darker, and to color in his nose, and then to color in the black stripes just on the edges, so the white will show down the middle of the stripe to give it kind of a curved look, and also maybe a reflected shine. There's more to that in a minute, and I'll show you where I kind of messed up. But and then the wings, a light blue, and where the wings overlap, make that a darker blue. So just speed that up. I just sped that up because you've seen me color bees before, and you know, coloring is not the most exciting thing to watch, although some people do like it. And so there is a cute little bow tie in the kit, and I went back and I stamped a bow tie on him. I wanted him to look more like a professor, and this is what I was talking about a second ago. The bow tie, I should have left more white space on that stripe so the bow tie would show up more. The black just blended in with the black. So what I did was I went back and tried to make the bow tie larger, made the tips on the top and the bottom of the bow tie go over more into the yellow so they would show up more. And it helped. I'll zoom it in and let you see. But then I decided, I believe I am going to put this up on foam tape. So as I get in closer, you can see the tips of that bow tie, and it's not bad. Up close, it's not bad. But I decided to go ahead and stamp off a couple of bow ties on this cardstock and go ahead and cut them out and mount them on foam tape. But it is really tiny. But I wanted it to stand out as far as I could. I'm using my tweezers there and putting a very skinny piece of foam tape on there, and I'm putting the most dimension to where it will make the bow tie stand out from the body. So it's stands out pretty far for something that thin. But I wanted it to, and I'll pick it up here on my tweezers and put it up close so that you can see it, to stand out as far as I can to make it cast more of a shadow and hold it out more. So here you go. That's how that bow tie is on the right, and that's how far out it is. But it actually works. It actually sticks and and held its shape really well. And so I'm going to put it on there. My only concern was that the white foam tape showed through, and then I thought, well, if I'd left a white line, there would have been a white line back behind there, so there really is no difference. So that put my mind at ease about that. So I'm mashing it down. I'm going to hold it up or zoom in and let you see. There's a little bit of foam tape that shows, and then that's how far out it is from the body. But up close, looking at it straight on, it's cute, and you can see that it really has some dimension. I will pull in another one. There's the little white line I was talking about, but it just looks to me as if it's part of the black stripe, that it would have been white there anyway. So, but I'll pull in another one that I had done earlier and just show you the difference. If I hadn't drawn that black line so far in, some of the white would have shown, and the bow tie does show up more that way. But anyway, one thing I like to do is to use a sponge with some neutral ink and go around my pieces of light colored paper, especially the white, and it gives them a little frame, gives them a little dimension. It makes them stand out a little bit, just a more finished look. So I did it on the orange and the yellow and the white, and set them aside to dry. There's the card base. It's a 5x7, and by dry I mean Tombow Mono Multi Glue. Goes on white, and then when it dries it becomes clear, and I hoped that you could see the shine there from the clear glue, but it didn't really show up. But anyway, that way when you stick it down it becomes repositionable. When it's dry it becomes repositionable, and you can pull that up and put it down as many times as you need to get it straight. So it's going to be a landscape card, and so I'm turning it sideways. I have yellow and black for the colors of the bee, but I also have the orange background for a little punch, some added color for interest, and so I'm showing how I actually had to pull this up to line that up a little better. I could have edited it out, but I wanted you to see, if you don't know already, how that repositionable glue really is helpful. So now I'm putting down the white piece, and everything could be just fine right there, but I went ahead and, in order to give it a little more pizzazz, I cut out a black rectangle just slightly larger than the sentiment that I also cut out, and it's just the same, but this way it has just a tiny little border around it and gives a little more dimension besides just the layered cardstock. Simple card, but I wanted mainly just to show a different way to use that honeycomb, and I personally need to think outside the box more and try to explore more ways I can use my stamps and come up with something maybe a little different from what I might have normally done. So I hope you got an idea from it. that's the way it looks up close. I hope you enjoy it. I also want to show that since this is a 5x7 card, it does fit in a 5x7 envelope, number 7, A7 envelope. So I'll just stick it in there real quick and let you see the bow tie hung in there, stayed intact, no problem. So I think it's going to be just fine. Of course, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Put it up on foam tape. So there it is. There is the card in its envelope. And the next card is going to be related to this. I'm going to show some still shots here. But I'll tell you as a little teaser that the next card is going to be a kind of a companion card, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a surprise. So in 2 or 3 days, hopefully that card will be up and you'll see how they connect. So thank you so much for joining me. At the end, there will be some more videos you might like to see, and I hope to see you in a few days. Thank you again so much. I appreciate you, and if you want to subscribe, I truly appreciate it. But have a great day, and see you soon. Bye-bye.